All right, let's get the show on the road. Hey, everybody, it's GrimmGreen from GrimmGreen.com. Back here today. Thank you so much for joining me for one last Sunday double feature before I leave for my wedding and honeymoon. Amber is already in Virginia. She left almost a week ago, and I miss her like crazy. I'm going to be out there very, very soon. If you're watching this, Jam, love you like crazy. I miss you. I will be there soon. But right now, I got one last Sunday double feature to wrap up for a couple of weeks. I'm going to be gone, just in case nobody caught my blog, which my video log blog, whatever it's going to be called. Someone suggested The Green Lounge, or Into the Green, or The Green Room, which I think are all pretty cool titles. But in case you didn't catch my video blog that I did, I'm going to be gone for about 3 weeks. I'm getting married to the love of my life, Amber. We're going on a honeymoon. We're going to be back in Nevada probably at the end of October. But it's not about that. It's about this right here. First up on the Sunday double feature chopping block, this is the Innokin iTaste MVP version 2. It's been performing really well for me, and it always seems that I'm kind of late to the party. If I Google search Innokin MVP version 2, Phil Basardo already has a video. Todd already has a video. Where's the GrimmGreen video? It's last, of course, because I'm always in last place, but that's fine because I'm getting to it now. I actually moved this up. This wasn't originally going to happen until after I get back, but I decided I'm actually going to take this with me. This is going to be my main device when I fly to Virginia to get married, when I fly to Jamaica for a honeymoon, when I fly back to Virginia, when I fly back to Nevada. This is going to be my main device. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, that kind of says a lot about the MVP version 2. But before we get too far into it, just for you, Dino, we're going to have to go uppy closey. Alrighty then, gonna spend some uppy closey time with the iTaste MVP version 2. There's not gonna be a whole lot to see here, folks, because it looks exactly like the old iTaste MVP. I was using this when we were painting our house, and it's been dropped a couple of times. See that right there? That's either paint or a scratch or something. But I don't know. It's there, and it's just something that I'm going to have to deal with. Display is basically the same. That's your puff count. Then it switches into wattage mode, right? So the P button is the wattage mode, and it only goes up. Do you see this? I'm pressing the button, and it goes up to 11, cycles back down to 6. So if you're at 10 or 11 and you want to go to 8, you have to keep pressing up in the same direction. So let's leave this at 11 watts. Just like that. And now you can press the button and vape at 11 watts. Now if you want to use, hey, look, you can see my camera. If you want to use voltage, you press the bottom button. It'll show you your puff count, and then you leave it, same thing, only goes up to 5 volts. You press the bottom button to use voltage, and it only goes up. So if you're at 4.1 and you want to go back down to 3.6, you have to cycle up to 5 and then back down to 3.6 volts. And now it's set to 3.6 volts and will fire. But I don't want that. I want to leave it at 11 watts. So I'm going to push the top button again and switch it back to wattage mode. That's the only difference. I don't know why they didn't just use the same interface that they used on the iTaste VV version 3. I really liked that one. It was easy to go up and down instead of just up, 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 or just up, 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 up. It does have an ohm checker if you press both of the buttons. 2.0 ohms, 3.9 volts left on the battery. And the way that you read that battery voltage is fully off the charger. It'll say about 4.2 volts. And when it gets down to around 3.5 volts, that might be the time to recharge it. Also, this light, when you press it, instead of being green, will be yellow. So if you turn it off, now it's off. Oh, now it's not going to fire. That resets the toot counter. 1, 2, 3. you get a little light show, and now your toot counter is reset to 0. This is how I've been using it. Okay, I've just been using it with an HH357 atomizer at 11 watts, a drip shield, and I leave the ring on here because it covers up kind of the ugly bass that's happening on down there. But if you want to, you can take, for science, we'll take all this stuff off. HH357 atomizer will take all this off. And it can use those beauty rings that go on there to fit flush with the tanks, but I find it's just easier to use this one that they include because it has airflow holes. And sorry for the whistling. Airflow holes in there, and you'll notice also that it sits flush with the device rather than poking out like the old one did. Also a big difference is the top. The top is kind of this soft iPad anodized finish. It's not that shiny one like the old one was. It's soft and anodized. It still has the USB in for charging, USB out if you want to charge your iPhone or iDevice. It won't work on the iPad mini or the iPad 2 because that requires more voltage, and you turn that on and off on the bottom. I don't know why they didn't just make the on-off button sit flush, because it's still here. Let's try it on the desk. It's still when you set it down, it still is wobbly. Doesn't quite sit like it should because the bottom's not flat. It's still a little wobbly because of that switch, and I don't know why they did that. But all's fair, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this. Let's put a Pro Tank 2 on here, just like that. Sits nice and flush. Vapes like it vapes. Sits on there well. Cardo tanks do the same thing. And this has an Ego styled connection so that most anything that you put on it will work. You want to put an EVOD on here, that might be a different story. You're going to have to take off this ring for an EVOD head to work. The reason is because when you put an EVOD or a Mini Pro Tank 2 on here, this little ring right here constricts the airflow. And I wish with all my wishes that I had an EVOD head, an EVOD clearomizer right here. But if you're going to use an EVOD, you got to take this ring off. Most other top coil clearomizers, like the iClear 16, sure, leave this on. That'll screw right down onto that Ego connection, and you'll have plenty of airflow. So that's up close with the iTaste MVP version 2. The last thing to touch on is the new button. It doesn't sit flush with it anymore. It's kind of protruding, and it's a little bit stiffer of a button. You really got to earn it. You see the clickiness? It's a clicky button, and it is a stiff button. You have to really kind of put a little bit of effort into getting it to fire. It's still in a weird location, in my opinion. This doesn't work well with how I hold this device. A button right here would have been perfect, or a button right here, just like that, would have been even better. But because of the way I hold it, which is not going to translate well onto camera, like that, or like that with your thumb, I don't know. I would love a button right here, Innokin, or I would absolutely love a detonator style button. Look at it, it's a face. I would love a button right here so you could hold it and just boom, hit the button right there. That would be great. So yeah, that's the iTaste MVP version 2. I'm going to switch it back into the mode that I've been using it for dripping. HH357 atomizer, a very old school, very first drip shield I ever bought. Fits on there with just an atomizer and a drip shield. Fits on there, works on there. Put this back on. Just like that. I think that looks cool, and it happens to work really well as well. So yeah, iTaste MVP version 2. Not a whole hell of a lot of difference. Wonky-ish menu and a much more stiff, rigid button to press. All right, so that's a little bit of uppy closey time with the MVP. Pardon me. Saturday night, I'm shooting this, so I have a New Belgium Abbey, wonderful brew. If you're into it, here's to you. Clinky. Now then, some uppy closey time with the MVP version 2. Innokin released the MVP version 1, which I loved. You can get skins for it. I think it's still a great mod. It doesn't do variable wattage, but I think it's still a great mod. So then the successor to that is the version 2, which aesthetically basically looks the same with a few minor differences that I pointed out in the uppy closey part. The top and bottom portions aren't wicked shiny anymore. They're just kind of that matte anodized finish. It still has that wobbly little button on the bottom. One of the main differences is that it does variable wattage now. It does variable wattage, it does variable voltage, and it will also check the ohms of your atomizer or cartomizer. So the variable wattage, the ohm checking, that already is a bonus. That's already a step up from the MVP version 1. Has the same exact form factor. However you held and used the MVP version 1, that's how you're going to hold and use the MVP version 2, with the exception of now you can adjust it to variable wattage. I don't like the menu system still. I don't know why, like I said before, I don't know why they didn't just go, I'm pointing over here because my iTaste version 3 is over there. I don't know why they didn't just stick with that. I don't know why they felt like they had to change it up for some reason. It's a little bit more complicated now. It's supposed to be simpler. On the iTaste VV version 3, you switch back and forth between wattage and voltage. The up button in wattage mode will adjust your wattage up. The down button in wattage mode will adjust your wattage down. Vice versa for voltage. In voltage mode, the up button will adjust your voltage up, and the down button will adjust your button down. This is things that we're used to. Buttons go up, buttons go down. On this, the menu system is wonky. Just the bottom button adjusts your voltage. You just press one button to go up, 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 cycle back down, up, 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 cycle back down, up, 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 up. Same thing for the wattage. If you press and hold the top button, wattage goes up, 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 cycle back down, up, 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 cycle back down. It's just kind of weird. Once you get used to it, it's no big deal, but it's kind of like, why did they change it? It makes no sense. It's like, this is the new Lexus SI 1520 2013. The steering wheel is slightly oval shaped now. I know you were used to a round steering wheel, but now it's slightly oval shaped, and now this is the 2014 version, slightly oval steering wheel. That's what it feels like to me. It feels the same, but just slightly different. Now then, will I recommend the MVP version 2? You're goddamn right I will. I think it's a great mod. I've absolutely been enjoying using it. This is how I've been using it. But what I really like about it is that it's pretty versatile. You can put a Cardo tank on here. Okay? You can put a K-Fun light on here depending on your ohms. You can put an RBA on here depending on your ohms. You can put a 510 atomizer and a drip shield on here. No adapter needed to get the to get the drip shield to work. It fits, it works, it looks cool as hell, and my most favorite thing, we didn't talk about the extra clicky button, but it has an extra clicky button. It's really rigid. I mean, not overly rigid. Everybody's going to be able to press it. It just feels different than the version 1. It's a little harder to press. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a huge deal. It's just something that's changed again. My favorite thing about the MVP version 2 is you can pick one up for around $60 to $70, maybe $50 if you shop around. The first search result that I did brought me to my Vapor Store. They're $69.99. And they come in gray, silver, black. This one happens to be black. I actually have a couple of these to give away, so stay tuned when I get back. We're going to be giving away MVPs like crazy. In fact, I got some iTaste VV version 3s that we're going to give away as well. So hang in there. I'll try and think of a cool contest and we'll give some away. But now, my favorite thing about the MVP version 2 is that it is its own battery. I am a huge fan of internal batteries, and I don't know why. The reason that I want to take this traveling with me is so that all I have to do is bring this and a USB charger, and that's good. I don't have to fly with lithium-ion batteries. I don't have to bring a separate lithium-ion battery charger and swap the batteries out. All I have to do is charge this every night, and I'm good to go. There's no additional costs. You spend $70 for the mod, and it comes with an internal battery. Now, what's the milliamp hour of that battery? I'm sorry about the whistling. People don't like the whistling. I apologize. I'm trying to look for the mAh or milliamp hour. 2600 mAh. That's in the 26650 range. That's going to outperform an Ego Twist. That's going to outlast my Opus. That's going to outlast an 18650. This is going to outlast everything that I have. And that's why I'm taking it with me on my trip. That's what I got. This is the iTaste MVP version 2 coming. Very highly recommended. Google around, see what's the cheapest price you can find. I've found them between 50 and 70 bucks. That's just what it is. But remember, if you have an atomizer or clearomizer or cartomizer tank, if you have a topper, if you have an ohmizer for the top, there's no additional costs. Everything you need is right here. You don't need to buy extra batteries. It even comes with its own USB wall charger to charge it up. I think it's great. I am gushing a little bit, but I'm very partial to the MVP version 2. I used the MVP version 1 into the ground. Just yesterday, I was still using it. It's been replaced, MVP version 2. That's what I got. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. As always, let's keep on vaping.